Hi everyone, so the server time is up. I've just finished blasting for like 12 hours straight or something like that and decided to take a little break before we try Ashava later. I started on my rogue, I had a pretty good time, but man, it is pretty tough to find those legendary items and just get really good loot in general. So after trying out this strategy that I detailed with the Deadman's Dredge and the event farming back and forth, I realized that this is not really something I want to do like all day long anyway. So I was looking around for some other various strategies. And I actually ended up in Khor Dragan, the stronghold here in the north in Fractured Peaks. And well, there are these level 30 monsters and you can kind of fight your way through them and they can drop pretty high level items. In fact, they are so high level that you actually cannot wear them most of the time. They are level requirement 25, 27, 22, and it's just sometimes there is actually an exact level 20 item in there that you can wear. But if it rolls on the weapon slot, it can be really, really nice. I tried this out a little bit and I actually noticed that the monsters don't even drop all that many items. It's actually almost only coming from those corpses in the chest that you can loot. So that was actually a pretty interesting finding. You don't actually have to try to fight those enemies that much. So you see me here, this is on my hardcore rogue and I'm running on veterans. So this is like a really dangerous activity because everything really hurts here with being 10 levels under the monsters. But with some crowd control effects and a lot of mobility and a dark shroud, I was able to get through this relatively well. And just picking up this loot from the corpses, running back and forth. I'm not sure why it is, it just seems like these drop rates are extremely high for these corpses and the chests. They just almost always just drop an item like a blue or a yellow, especially on veteran difficulty. And it seems like the monsters just barely have anything for some reason. So at some point after fighting them for a while, I just decided to skip them completely and did exactly this, what you can see here in the background. I can't really say that this was the most fun thing to do, but I did try this for like, I don't know, half an hour or so for a few runs, and I did end up with like a few items, as you can see here. So this is one of those examples. Here's a level 20 item power 317 magic sword, and I had like 2 of them. So you can actually find like some of those weapons that you can equip, and this can also roll yellow or even legendary, so you can have more stats. You can imprint them if you want to, and you can potentially get a pretty nice power spike there if you want to prepare for Ashava or just have some fun with like the strongest character you can be. But as you can also see, there's a lot of this loot that is actually too high level here, so almost all of it is actually locked behind the high level requirement. And we cannot get higher than 20, so it is basically lost and you have to salvage or sell it. In any case, I just want to highlight this little strategy for the server slam before it is too late. So if you are also trying to find the best gear possible, outside of that, as I've mentioned before, I was farming Deadman's Dredge, so this is actually a really good destination. I also detailed this in my other video yesterday. And this event here, but it's not really respawning fast enough. At least when I was trying this, I was doing some hardcore on veteran. There's not really many people around, and I think with, you know, a very low population, these events don't respawn very fast. So if that happens to you, you can also do cellars. So there's like one here nearby. So this is what I've been doing, kind of like a circle around here, the dungeon, the cellar, then the event is there, I'm gonna do that, and then repeat, kind of like that. Or sometimes after a dungeon run, you know, I TP to town, sort out my stash, come back, and you can just repeat farm this dungeon. So that has worked pretty well. Another thing that I also liked doing was just running events. So just farming obols, which also don't seem to yield that many legendary items. But compared to the non-existent drops, it's still way better, I think. So you can go out here to the south and start with this event, for example, and then just go counterclockwise all around, like up here, and do all of those events in a row, and then maybe, you know, go back and salvage and stuff. And then you can, for example, go out here again and do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like these kind of events down here, and then you can just do like another circle yet again, and all of the events should be back. So this is also how you can just like jump from event to event and get a lot of obols. I also heard that people were trying to instance hop in the same event. So for example, here there's like really fast events right below Kyobashad. And if you constantly get respawns by teleporting in or out or relogging, then you can also farm obols really quickly. So now after playing the Zora Slam, these are the main farming strategies that we have discovered so far. When you are level 20, you want to gear up. So you have the Deadman Stretch combo here in the bottom right. You have the Quartergun, like corpse and chest farming strategy, although that is pretty tough. And then you have like just the event circles, so you can, just find like any kind of events that you like, in like a little area, and just do like circles around the area, and then maybe go to another area and repeat. So that also works really well, so you can gamble for items. Also, if you are gambling for items, then I would definitely recommend always the offensive slots. They did increase the prices for gloves, which was usually the go-to slot because it was only 25 in the previous beta. Now it costs 40. It's not that great anymore because it's not a purely offensive slot. It can have utility effects, and for that price, it's probably not worth going gloves. So instead, as a rogue, for example, I was going for daggers for melee builds or swords for ranged builds. And in the case of any kind of offhand class like Necromancer, Sorcerer, Druid, I would always just gamble the offense. They are only offensive and they have a good price. And for the barb, I would also go for just one-handed weapons, basically. That's it for this video. I'm gonna keep you guys posted with more highlights from the Zora Slam. And I'll see you guys next time.